Imagine being a university student, short on cash, always looking for ways to make ends meet. Now imagine discovering a loophole, a flaw so simple yet so powerful, that it lets you turn delayed trains into piles of money. That's what two students in the UK did. They found a weakness in the National Railway refund system, and over time, it made them more than £140,000 richer. But as clever as their plan was, it all came crashing down when the authorities finally caught on. This is the story of Li Lu and Wan Qingyu, two students who engineered a highly organized refund scam built on a single point of failure. Missing crosschecks in the system meant to compensate passengers for delays. The story starts in Leeds, West Yorkshire. Two students, Li Lu age 26 and Wan Qingyu age 25, were sharing a flat while studying. At first glance, they were ordinary students. Lectures, coursework, plans for the future. But behind the scenes, they were quietly exploiting one of Britain's most widely used compensation programs, the Delay Repay scheme. Delay Repay is simple in principle. If your train is late, you can claim compensation. The flaw was equally simple. There wasn't an automatic cross-check to see whether someone had already been refunded for the ticket in the first place. That gap would become central to everything that followed. Lu and Yu realized they could claim refunds twice for the same journey. First, they would request a refund by pretending to cancel a trip and recover the ticket cost. Then, when the train later ran, and was delayed, they would submit a delay repay claim on that same journey, as though they had traveled and been inconvenienced. A single oversight created two streams of money from one ticket. And they didn't stop at a few attempts. They scaled it. The pair studied train services across the country to find routes that were frequently delayed, and they bought tickets in advance. They opened and used multiple bank accounts to spread activity. They fabricated 16 identities to file claims under different names. They even used a 20 SIM card adapter in one phone that let them manage many phone numbers at once, making it look like dozens of unrelated passengers were filing legitimate claims. From the outside, it resembled a crowd of frustrated travelers rather than a coordinated operation based in a single flat. Over time, the payouts added up. Investigators later calculated that Li Lu obtained roughly £141,031. Wan Qingyu received around £15,712. Multiple rail companies were affected. Eventually, patterns began to surface. Similar routes, similar timing, similar details. Cross-country trains noticed irregularities and raised the alarm, and it soon became clear that several operators had been targeted since about 2021. The British Transport Police took over. Tracing the claims, identities, phone numbers, and bank activity led investigators back to the same student address in Leeds. During the search, police found evidence consistent with a coordinated scheme. Multiple SIM cards, records of claims, devices, and notes tracking outcomes. Both Lu and Yu were arrested on suspicion of conspiracy to defraud and possession of criminal property. They had no prior convictions and remained silent during interviews. At Leeds Crown Court, the scale and method were set out in detail. The prosecution described how the defendants exploited a weakness, used false identities, and ran claims through many accounts to conceal the source. The judge addressed them directly, saying they had identified a weakness in the system and abused it, and that there was sophistication in how they created false identities and set up many bank accounts. Sentences followed. Li Lu received 30 months in prison. Wan Qingyu was sentenced to 17 weeks, with release imminent due to time served on remand. This case highlights how small verification gaps can snowball into systemic risk. There was no hacking here, no exotic malware, only a process flaw and determined exploitation of it at scale. Systems that pay out automatically, especially those designed for consumer protection, need robust cross-checks and anti-abuse controls. After cases like this, operators typically reassess fraud detection, identity verification, and duplicate claim prevention to reduce exposure. The broader lesson is timeless. Convenience without verification invites abuse. Two students, a simple oversight and a sophisticated routine turned delays into cash, until the patterns revealed themselves. Stories like this underscore how important it is to design systems that are generous to genuine customers and resilient against manipulation.